The stories shared on the Busy Baddies are submitted by real listeners and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. To protect the privacy of everyone involved, all names, companies, and identifying details have been changed or omitted. Any resemblance to real people or events are purely coincidental. We believe in keeping it real while keeping it respectful. Thank you for sharing your experiences and for trusting us to spill the tea with care. This isn't about busy work, it's about power, proximity, and what really happens behind the scenes.
Welcome to the Busy Baddies, where assistants speak freely, boundaries get tested, and professionalism meets real life. I'm Michelle, EA to a Fortune 150 female CEO breaking glass ceilings.
And I'm Mel, former C suite EA, well, who's seen it all. And in season 2, we're saying things you've only ever said to your work bestie.
We're bringing bigger stories, bolder takes, and the real talk that keeps this community thriving. Hello, baddies. Welcome back.
Yeah, we're already February around Valentine's Day.
I know.
Love is in the air.
That's right.
I love it.
I think this episode kind of flows in nicely from last week.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a compare,
A yin and yang.
a yin yang thing. So we are talking old school secretaries versus the EA role today.
Yeah.
What's changed,
Lots.
good, bad,
Yep.
all of the things. I mean, I can't say that, well, I can say because I was not what I'm guessing we're considering an old day secretary.
Yeah.
Not because I'm just so young
Yeah.
that I couldn't possibly have been it, but
Yeah.
you know, as we all know that my EA job started
Yeah.
when I supported the C-suite I do today. So
Mhm.
I was not doing
Yeah.
this type of work back in the day.
It is a stark difference from when I started, 27 years ago, maybe
Mhm.
more. It is very, very different. There was so many manual processes and it was just like a mixed bag. The best way that I could probably describe it is you
Mhm.
were like a work wife, like a
Mm.
stay-at-home work wife.
Yeah.
Like that managed the coffee maker. You greeted people. You hand wrote
Mhm.
out messages and taped them to the door for the person when they came back from lunch. And they had 15 pink slips on the door of so-and-so who called, what number it was, hope that you got the number right. Like there was no voicemail. There was typewriters.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of obviously all of the things that we
Yeah.
have today and assume that
Yeah.
we did not have it back in the
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
So I can like picture it,
It
just
was
didn't
wild.
live it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even just thinking of how we book travel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine not having the internet for one.
The time wasted on a phone, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, who knows how readily available at some point, like even travel agencies.
It was awful because I remember the first EA job that I had in an insurance company. I spoke about this job before. You had to call the airline and sit on hold until a representative would answer, and you booked the travel that way, and then they would fax the confirmation.
What's a
You
fax?
had to print out all the paperwork. Like they
Yeah.
had this like binder they had to travel with. It was just like, it's so wild to
Wow.
think back on like the time that was wasted doing such a remedial job versus the stark difference of the strategy we have now, the thought partner, the
you just like
I
how
mean, everything.
complex
Yeah.
business has
Yes.
gotten.
Yes.
Because I would imagine back in the day too, they probably didn't travel often, right? And
No.
I don't even know. I'm sure some markets there was international
Mhm.
travel, but
Yeah.
not like there is today, I would guess,
No.
right?
No. The first trip that I went on was to Los Angeles because we had a office in Los Angeles. It was like a 4.5, 5 hour flight. And I remember the entire time it was like horribly turbulent. It was the first time I ever flew. And it literally
That's because planes were just invented.
Yeah, we still had to like kickstart the propel on the landing strip. But it was, I mean, I just remember the experience, and like it was just like thinking back on that is just like, even thinking about this episode, I was like, my, how things have changed. Like,
Yeah.
and for the better. Like, and I know even in the last 5-ish, 6 years, I've even seen kind of another turn of evolution in the role of, it's like a movement right now with EAs and like what the titles are, what the salaries are. Do we do it remote? Do we do it in person?
Yeah.
Do we, I mean,
even with
woo.
the whole AI front
Yes.
coming in, I mean, I can certainly see the change from me being,
Yeah.
just closer to 15.
Yeah.
I can see that flow. So for admins that like you have been doing it close to 30 years plus, I
Yeah.
mean, night and day
Very different.
of so many things. And
Yeah.
I think we're a lot, our role is a lot deeper
Very deep.
than probably what, I mean, you probably sat at a desk, you
Yep.
answered a phone,
Yeah.
like you said, passed the messages, stuck them to walls or whatever.
Dictated in shorthanded meetings, and like
Yeah.
I didn't do the shorthand, but like that was like a whole art.
Mm.
And I think it's interesting too, the sexual like side of it too, because it was a very female thing. Like,
Yeah.
and nowadays you could have male, female, either one in the role. There's a lot of males in the industry, which is crazy to just see that evolution.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I, like you said, I'm sure they're you probably didn't even think to apply
No.
to a secretary job. Like,
No.
it was just, no, you can't even be
Yeah.
be a male and do that.
And you didn't have levels. You came in as a secretary or an administrative assistant. There wasn't like an executive assistant.
Yeah.
There wasn't a chief of staff. So even you were capped pretty much in what the area was, unless you just happened to stumble upon some leader who wanted to give you some made up title. But I mean, even the ceiling that you had for promotion or, lateral moves would be
Probably not non-existent.
Yeah. And it even felt more like invisible labor more than it does now. Like, if you want to talk about being really
you definitely weren't a work partner, right?
You moved the needle at all.
Yeah.
I mean, you did not move the needle.
Yeah, and I would there was probably not, like, you didn't give input.
No.
There was no way, because the person you worked for was most likely a male, correct?
Right. Yes.
I mean,
yeah, you were a silent partner.
Right.
Yeah. You shook your head, you got the coffee, you picked up lunch, you were basically their wife at work. Like, it's crazy to see the evolution. And I promise you, I'm not that old. I'm not like, 75, 80 years old, but it's one of these days we'll videotape when we feel like being presentable enough to be on video. But the good, the bad, the different, like it's just crazy to see what's changed.
Well, let's get into some of that stuff.
Yeah. So what has changed? Again, I think being a strategic partner and not just a support system. You aren't just the person who supports the remedial things that someone needs. You are looked at for strategy. You are strategic about what you do, and how you deliver, your measurables to your boss. So
yeah, and depending on the area of work that your leader does,
yep, absolutely.
You can be a thought partner.
Yep.
All kinds of things.
Absolutely.
Another thing that we mentioned is like the depth of the work. So project management, operations, comms. I'm back then with no real like laptops as we have it.
No.
Like you weren't putting together PowerPoint presentations.
No.
I mean, what was transparencies?
Yeah. Yes.
Projectors?
Yes.
Whatever.
You had projectors in conference rooms.
I did have some classes in high school that they were still using
writing on the dry
projectors.
erase. You know, the teacher would lick their finger.
Yes,
and
so gross.
How unhygienic were we?
Oh my, I know.
It's so gross.
So my whole time hasn't been like chalk and chalkboards.
No, and I think too, like the biggest things, and to me the most meaningful things, are the culture setters that we are as EAs to the people that we support, and the lens and the access that we have to executive decision making, where you really have a front row seat to some of the most important conversations and are in the know on things that, I mean, like way back in the day, you would have not even know that a riff was coming or that this company's financials were tanking. They just didn't share that information.
Yeah.
So you had to like physically read it instead of being in rooms and conversations. Like we said, you were very much a silent partner who sat at the desk, manned the station, did the things.
Yeah, and probably don't speak unless spoken to type stuff. Yes. I feel like that whole environment kind of just sets me back to like my grandparents' era.
Like Mad Men.
Where, you know, the adults sat and ate at the kitchen table. And
the kids too.
Yeah, we were in a whole other room.
You've been banished.
Yeah, it's like,
this is adult conversation. You're like, what is adult conversation?
Well, and not only that, but we could hear what the hell 100%. You were saying. Like, give me a break. Our tiny ears were stronger than yours. So we could pick up because you were talking loud.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was like you could still smoke in the office in some office. Like, I just think about like how, I mean, and I'm sure it's not just EA roles. Like, I think everything has evolved over time.
Oh, yeah.
Roles have got different. CEOs do different things, you know, to your point. It evolves, but I don't think a role has evolved further than a receptionist / secretary to what we do now. I mean, stark contrast.
Yeah. Would you go, I know you kind of labeled it as, you know, a work wife, if you will. Like, would you kind of put it in the frame of like, gosh, how to say this kindly or appropriately, but like degrading? Like, was it a mean environment to where like you felt like you were nothing?
Yes.
And treated that way?
Yeah, it was a very hierarchical feeling of you literally had no value. Like, you were a means to an end. You were the vehicle who helped them with things they just didn't want to do. And it was just like,
definitely,
and like you said,
easily replaceable.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yes.
We'll get another one. No big deal.
Yes. Disrespectful, screaming, slamming of doors, like things they were allowed to get away with back then were just crazy.
You're right.
You know?
And the work environment, obviously, we know was completely different, and like there were probably not rules, and policies as
sexual
we have
harassment.
Now,
I mean, and men sometimes in general in the workplace can just be pigs. Like, and I think back then it was just a different time where women were subservient and. You know, obviously you didn't have anything like Me Too to where women would stand up and be like, you can't talk to me like that.
Right.
You know, it was, this is how I pay my bills. This is how I help my family. I don't have a choice but to take this behavior.
Right.
Whereas nowadays, if they tried to turn us into secretaries and receptionists, oh my God, like the revolution that would happen.
No kidding. And like, obviously we are so glad to where we're at today, but we just thought it would be a really interesting podcast topic. And, you know, so for those listening and have lived through that, you know, let us know what you saw through that movement, if you will, of old school secretary to now, because I mean, I don't even think we use that term.
I don't think so.
Anywhere.
I mean, I'll have to look when we do the searches for the idiot job of the week. which is one of my personal new favorite highlights that we have every week to call out these absolute crazy
Yeah.
companies that, literally are trying to get people for
Yeah.
pennies on the dollar. Like, this is not third world country slave labor. Like,
No.
you gotta do better.
Yeah. And for those listening, we can open up our search, but
Yes.
it would be way
Send us what you see.
Please send us
yes.
your
Yes.
local idiot of the week.
Yes.
Because
and we will not call you out.
Yeah, we won't, but we will the company.
Yes. No shame. It's public. They posted it. They're on the hook for it.
That's right.
No, and I think too, another thing is like thinking about, respect in the role has even became so different because there was like no respect in the role before. Like, and even how you dressed, how you presented yourself, you were expected to be
in a pencil
dressed up and
yeah.
like, suit jacket and, very professional, just to literally be a figure that sat at a desk and be a face. Like, it was, when you think back on it, it's almost like demeaning in some ways. Like, you were supposed to be put together, had every hair in place and stitch of makeup done. It's just interesting to me to think back about that, because it's like now you can wear jeans and a sweatshirt and have your hair up in a messy bun.
Yeah, I don't unless you're in like a law firm. Right, obviously, you're in a very specific industry to where your attire is more mandatory or whatever. I mean, we can be pretty casual, I would say. Depending on what you have going on. Can't be coming to work in jeans when you got a customer meeting or anything coming in. But we definitely have some more flexibility now.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not seen as a physical visual role. It's more of a respectful, strategic partner.
Yeah, you're there to do work.
Absolutely. Like, you actually do work. And I think back then, respect was optional, but now today it's kind of like a non-negotiable is what I would say is. Like, because I would say, I know I would, if I didn't feel respected in the role that I did and the person that I support, I would leave that job and go to somebody who has respect for the role. So I think that's another shift also that has taken place of having the confidence in what we do provide, the level of service that we, provide it at, and knowing what we're entitled to as far as respect. Like, I don't think that's a question. Yeah.
And I wonder if some of that was also because of the work that, they did and, maybe just answering phones. Obviously there weren't computers, so you weren't checking email that could come at any second of every day. I mean, you were getting mail once a day when the mail came, and however much that was.
Yeah. So in preparation for this episode, I just inquisitively thought of looking back on what I made in one of my, what I would say, technology, like, that was a true like administrative assistant role. Like, so it was 2006.
Okay.
And I still remember that my job offer was for $26,000 a year.
Wow.
So think about that. 20 years. And even like stepping through my first executive assistant role was at the same company. 2009 is when I started it, was in the role for 3 years supporting a C-suite person, a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. And I made $38,000 a year.
Wow.
So 2009 to 2012, I mean, think about that. Like, that's not, I mean, I'm sure that's me because I'm getting older and I don't want to admit that that's been a long time ago, but I mean, that's not been that long ago.
Well, no, and let's go back to our idiot job of the week last week.
49,000 in 26.
49,000 in 26.
Yes.
Supporting two.
Yes.
All of the stuff that
you had to be IT, the mailroom person, the web administrator.
That is not that big of a leap.
It's not.
In pay.
No.
that is actually, like, I'm a little mind blown right now at
Yeah.
how slow
Yeah.
that number has grown.
Yeah. So if you ever are inquisitive, I would encourage you to set up a Social Security account online for yourself and look back on the year that you became an admin of some sort that you feel like, okay, that was like a true admin role. Because to me, the insurance company that I worked at, it was such a different role. I'm sure I probably didn't even make $19,000-$20,000, right?
Right.
But looking at what it was, like look back at the year that you feel like you truly became an administrative assistant, see what that salary is, and see A, how far you've come, B, even look at it from the lens of some of these moron jobs that we're going to call out every single week, how far apart you are on that. Maybe in some instances you may even be making more than some of these people posting for these jobs now.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's mind-blowing to
Yeah.
me that that's even possible.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I hope, I hope we are not the only
no,
group that this has happened to, but
we stood still in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And the job has just expanded.
Yes.
And, you know, as we've talked about what we do in our daily job, I mean,
the role hasn't got easier. It's got bigger and harder.
And more complex.
Yes.
And layers. And, you know, a lot of us manage admin teams.
Yes. And a lot of people, you know, and I think that's where the important factor is too, of when we're doing the idiot job of the week, is calling out what the leader makes, because that is a very telling. If your leader is operating at $150,000, $160,000 level, why are you being paid $49,000? Like, that's crazy to me. You are doing a big chunk of the work that's expected to them.
Yeah.
To deliver to their bosses. So
how do we get a movement of like right. All admins should be getting
no less than or whatever,
or like 40% of whatever their leader makes?
Agree.
I mean, because we're not saying we do our leaders' works.
No,
not what I'm saying at all. But we are big contributors,
huge,
to how they work,
efficiency,
their productivity, efficiency, all of those things.
Yep. And I think too, you know, success is very different for every person in this role as well. So there are people who may be doing kind of administrative or secretarial type duties, and that's okay. If that's what you want to do and you don't want to be the thought partner, the strategic, to be on the hook for that kind of stuff, that's okay. There's still a need at a lot of companies, like construction companies and people who operate at a different level than a corporate place. Like, I think it's important that success is different for everyone, and in every single role it's different. So don't let this be discouraging and be like, oh, well, I answer phones and I get coffee, and great. We all started somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I did. I'm not going to sit here and say that I jumped right into a C-suite EA job. Like, it took, as you can see, 20 years to get to where I'm at.
Right.
Like, that's tough.
Yeah. And in all areas of workforce, I mean, you know, you think about all these like mediocre jobs and I don't say that disrespectfully, but you know, like there's all of the jobs that are entry level for those people entering the workforce. And so I do understand that somebody that has decided to work in a department store and they love it and that's like what their career is, I understand that. Absolutely. And that's great. There also has to be the expectation that you're not ever going to make 6 figures working at Kohl's.
No.
So I think that has to kind of play into that thought process of career. Like, is it a career? Is it a job? And over time, I guess what I'm saying is I see it as years ago in the secretary world,
Mhm.
that was probably more of a job.
Yes.
Where today's EA
It's like a
role,
career.
I feel like it is seen more
Yep.
as a career.
Yep.
And I wish it was more.
Sure.
Because I still feel like there are a lot of managers out there that are pushing us to go farther, do something bigger, better, or whatever. And I think to those leaders, I don't think they understand the breadth of our role,
Yeah.
and how fulfilling it can be, how much of a career it actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we need all of those, both.
Yeah, I mean, and they're always going to need EAs, and I always look at it as, because I've had a couple, 2, 3 different leaders ask, like, what is your end game? What do you want to do? And it's like, when I started with my last leader, I was like, I want to do this until the day that I retire. So for me to sit here now, 6 years later, and not be an EA is very out of body for me.
Right.
But I also think I tried to start, and my last leader was really good about this. She's like, but you, in your role, you are so versatile and there's so many different things that you can do. Why are you holding yourself back from being something really wonderful? Which, being an EA is wonderful, but she's like, growth. Like, if somebody is having that conversation with you, it's because they see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And they're encouraging you. You are capable of so far greater things than being my EA. But to that point, I always revert back. But what's wrong with just being your EA if I'm comfortable with that? So I think, again, that's where, success looks different for everyone. And I think you have to define your own version of success in the role. If that's the end game as a chief of staff, then great, that's your success point. If it's getting out of the role and going into another whole field together, that's great. That's your point of success. But I would encourage everyone as a listener, you have to define what your version of success is. You have to hold true to that. And then when you have people approach you about that, just be emphatic about it. I don't want to do anything else. I love this career. I love the versatility that it has. I love the doors that it opens, the conversations I get to have, the people I get to meet. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I feel like, you can also then challenge your leader of, I enjoy this. Right. I want to stay in this. How do I grow?
How do we make it more?
And not have to leave and do something different.
Yep.
Hopefully is music to the leader's ears, because we all know deep down
they don't want to start over.
And they don't want to lose us either. I like to think that like, you don't want me to go. You just can't say that.
No. And that's a great point of the evolution too of the role, is thinking through the people who forged and like made the path for us to have other options in the role. And even in the last 5-6 years, the evolution of the different paths and kind of like swerves that we can make into a different lane of, okay, I've been your executive assistant for 10 years. I want to make this role bigger. What do we call that? What does that look like? What does that pay? You have options of executive business partner, executive operations. I mean, the sky is the limit now. Whereas I feel like that's also evolved of like, you don't have to just be in a box of these 2 titles. The world is really your oyster if you want to make this career even different than where you're at now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah. I think there are so many roles that this job specifically could sprout out.
Agreed.
It may not be in the company that you're currently working in,
right?
But I think it ties so nicely with so many things. I mean, my background, as we talked about, is hotel, restaurant, resort management. And my leader saw how closely, I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah.
And so I can absolutely tell you that for anybody in an EA role could easily go into the hospitality market of
Yep.
managing, banquets, weddings.
Yep.
You could go and do so many cool things, be a party planner,
Yep.
all of that, and fit in seamlessly.
Yeah, and we've even had girls at our company that come from hospitality into the EA role. And anybody that I would interview who would always come from like a hospitality background, I would always say, you just have to look at this leader as your event or your project. So it's like, I think that's the beautiful part of this role too, is that it's very transferable and you can like kind of pivot and shift and, twirl and go in all these different directions.
But and they're both so customer service and coming from hospitality and coming from EA, we're people pleasers, like that customer service skill.
Huge.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I think too, and we'll get into this in a future episode where we want to talk about, are we training EAs for the role or just for survival? Because I think EAs are kind of the undervalued still when it comes to development, skill refinement, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's another, really good point to make in that future episode for sure. Okay.
All right. So let's have some fun and let's get into who had it better.
Yeah. Old school or new school?
Yeah.
Or current day.
This is going to be interesting because I feel like we both could already be like immediately today. Yeah. Today we had it better, but let's see.
Yeah. And thinking of them as being different roles. So I'll be interested to see with what we come up with. So a phone with 17 different lines or a Teams like whole thing with channels and all this other stuff?
Oh my gosh. I think I may surprise myself and I think I'd rather go phone.
I think I would too.
Like the Teams.
Yeah. But we don't even have phones anymore at the desk, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So think of the distraction of that. Like I would see that being tough, but also something constantly popping on your screen, I think would be distracting as well. So I would agree with you on that. I would definitely take a phone.
Okay. What's next?
Filing cabinets or SharePoint? I hate file cabinets. So I
was going to say file cabinets because I am one of those people, like I would love like the organization and all of that stuff. So I'm going to go file cabinets. I'm already shocking myself here.
Supporting one exec or supporting the exec plus their feelings?
One exec, thanks.
Yes. Let's see. Be told what to do versus being expected to just know.
Oh, goodness.
I think
it's me being expected to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rather be that way too. Like, if somebody had to tell me what to do, I would feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Being physically next to your boss all day or just managing them remotely? Manage remotely.
Next to her all day.
Hashtag obsessed.
Obsessed. She's the bomb.
Let's see here. Walking memos or just digital paper trails?
Digital paper trails, I think. Yeah, I would worry like you couldn't go back.
Yeah.
Back then, you wrote a note and you stuck it somewhere and then it went in the trash and then it was gone. Yeah. That would be that'd be a stressor for me.
Yeah. Because if they lost it under like in desks back then would give you anxiety. Like the papers literally everywhere.
And I am one of those people that you aren't going to tell me that I did something that I know I didn't. Like I'm not going to be the fall girl because I will find the email that clearly stated whatever. And send
receipts.
Yes. There, I should have just said receipts. Thanks. I'm just word vomiting.
You are saying I got the receipts.
I got the receipts.
And I am not willing to just
don't try me.
Right. Okay, being called sweetheart or being called a little intense? A little intense all day long.
All day.
Yes.
Yeah, let's not with the gosh, I can't even imagine what you got called. Again, those listening from back in that day, like what were
Honey,
some of
sweetie, sweetheart, like it was gross.
I have a name.
And we're talking like 65, 7-year-old men. Like it was not good. Clear hierarchy or invisible influence? Invisible influence all day long over here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Being underestimated versus being overloaded.
Oh,
I'd be overloaded.
Underestimated.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Carbon paper versus calendar color coding. Calendar coding all day long. Carbon paper was awful.
Yeah, and not knowing like any difference from calendaring. Like I will say, I at one point in my administrative jobs, I was a desk calendar girly.
You loved it.
I loved it. I couldn't wait to like fill that bitch up, rip her off when we were on to the new. So I did like that.
Liquid paper whiteout versus Outlook crashes.
Oh, who wants? Hello, who you? Everybody's nightmares when like your computer's just like.
Let's see here. A Rolodex. I'm dating myself with this one versus LinkedIn stalking.
Oh, LinkedIn stalking all day.
Yeah, I love a good social media stalk.
Yes.
Office plans versus virtual backgrounds, if I can spit it out.
Office plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So hopefully you guys had fun with this. And then, of course, as promised, the new fan favorite.
Yes.
Idiot job of the week.
Idiot job of the week.
I do not have a company name for this one.
They already knew they were going to be the idiot job of the week and didn't want to share it. It was a secret company,
I guess. And it's a little bit briefer. It's interesting to me. It's a contract position.
Okay.
And they're already starting off wrong because they say contract to last 6 months or longer. Okay. You either know how long you want to contract.
So here
goes Michelle. Bishop Michelle.
So I see these types of jobs all of the time.
So stupid.
Who on earth that needs a job is like, 6 months? Okay. So that in 6 months I can worry again about a job. Right. Like, I just don't understand, like, who is attracted to these?
I don't know.
Like, again, it has
to me, you're a non-committal.
Yeah, and maybe those people are out there. I don't know, but
or they know the people they're hiring for are going to be tired of whoever comes in 6 months, so it's an ever rotating door.
Know.
Red flag.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it starts out with the ideal candidate will provide top level assistance for high level CEO and COO. So you're doing 2 C-suites at the top of the company.
Okay, so for people who don't know how like most big corporations are structured, that's literally number 1 and number 2.
Right.
We're not talking like we're going to give you number 2 and number 8 of the company, like even it out. Like you're getting the biggest 2 people.
And you only want an EA for 6 months. Red flag number 2. They should be well organized and comfortable scheduling meetings and responding to emails on the executive's behalf.
Duh.
You support a CEO and a COO, and you need to be comfortable scheduling meetings.
Or that even needs to be part of the job description.
Should be able to draft documents and help the executive with any necessary meeting preparations. They clearly do not understand what an executive assistant does.
Yeah, and okay,
this is my point.
Year 2026, and we literally have to spell out the most normal part of the job, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, like we want to know of what we have to do beyond what
Yes.
normal.
There is basic skills that you
Yes.
should not even have to say.
Exactly.
Being comfortable, it should say you should be a master at scheduling meetings.
Yes.
If you're even going to call it out. Like,
yes.
degree preferred. So now you have to have a college debt degree and proficient in Microsoft Office Suite. Again, basic skill.
Yes.
What else do they have on this horrible
let's see.
list?
Aid executive in preparing for meetings, draft slides, meeting notes, and documents. I mean, still, this is just all very
Attend board meetings.
mundane items that, like, tell me what I'm really going to be doing.
Right. Like, I'm like, is this a small fry company? And not only that, are you ready? The contract is $28 to $35 an hour, which to me in my mind, girl math is you're making 14 to 17.50 an hour per liter. No thanks.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And as again, as a CEO and COO, to me, that's dollar signs of what they're going to be making. And like, here's your pennies.
So the CEO in my girl math again, they would be making 56 to $70 an hour, which we all know in no universe is that happening.
Yeah.
So again, read it with the buzzword lenses, the rose-colored glasses that you have of just how foolish some of these job descriptions are. Like, I wish all of us would unite, find horrible job descriptions, copy paste and rewrite them for these people, and then send them back to them and say this is what you should be posting.
Right.
Like, that's how out of hand it's
Yeah.
got. The fact that we've been able to create like even a segment off of this is crazy.
Yeah, but we're here for it. You're loving it. We're loving it. Let's keep it up.
Yeah, and send us any that you happen to see out there. Again, we can't, be on the internet all the time and looking on LinkedIn and Indeed to find these job
we know there's
descriptions,
doozies. We know it.
They're all over the world, and some of you may have even applied to them out of desperation, but don't do it.
All right, that's it for us today. Have a good week.
See you guys next week. That's it for us today, bringing order to corporate chaos.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that follow button.
Yours truly, Melissa
and Michelle,
the
Biz-y Baddies.